Can the king appoint an interim prime minister? The answer is no. Why? There is no such thing in the constitution. The only provision in the constitution that deals with the appointment of a prime minister occurs in Article 43, Clause 2, Paragraph A. All the powers of appointment of a prime minister are to be found there. My name is GK Ganesan, dear friends, and this is GK TV. Today's topic is, can the king appoint an interim prime minister? The current prime minister's position is in jeopardy. From the time Muhyiddin Yassin had taken over as prime minister and was appointed on the 1st of March 2020 as a result of what has now been known as the Sheraton Hotel move on the 28th of February, there has been a constant flux in the number of MPs who support him. In the last 3 weeks, despite what appear to be furious negotiations, Muhyiddin's position as Prime Minister has become almost untenable. How does the constitutional appointment mechanism work? First, there has to be a general election. All the members of the House of Representatives, the Dewan Rayat, are elected. They become MPs. Second, to qualify as a potential candidate for Prime Ministership, only an MP of the House of Representatives or the Dewan Rayat is eligible, because only an MP is entitled to participate both in the selection and election process. A member of the Senate doesn't qualify. Third, the candidate has to show some proof to His Majesty the King that at least in theory 112 or more MPs support him, because there are 222 seats in the Dewan Rayat. This is because the Constitution requires, under Article 43, Clause 2, a majority of the MPs to support the candidate. Fourth, the candidate must seek an audience with the King. Think on this. What if His Majesty the King refuses an audience to such a candidate? Mahathir complains that happened to him in the early days of March. Well, under the law, the King cannot refuse an audience to a candidate who passes the constitutional test in Article 43, Clause 2. Fifth, the King, having satisfied himself that the candidate is likely to command the confidence of the majority of the members of the Dewan Rayat, must appoint the Prime Minister. So, in conclusion, first, there has to be a general election resulting in the candidate's selection, which ends with an appointment as Prime Minister. Now, once a Prime Minister is appointed, that appointment cannot end unless the Prime Minister is incapacitated, dies, loses the majority of his support in the Dewan Rayat, or his maximum duration of 5 years has passed, or an election is called for before that, or another candidate is proposed after the election. Next, the Constitution does not recognize any interim Prime Minister. Having said that, the Federal Constitution doesn't authorize or recognize the position of any interim Prime Minister. There are also no parliamentary laws that deal with this or allow it. Again, the King has no power to appoint any Prime Minister, interim or otherwise. Either he appoints a Prime Minister or he does not. Unless the conditions of Article 43 are fulfilled, a Prime Minister cannot be appointed. That's the heart of the article, and that concerns the confidence of the majority of the members in the Dewan Rayat. But there is such a thing as a caretaker Prime Minister. When Parliament is dissolved, the incumbent Prime Minister continues in his position until a new Prime Minister is appointed. Until then, he acts as a caretaker Prime Minister. Where does the legal authority for that come from? It's not from the Constitution. That is a widely accepted, long-standing practice, and it is part of the UK Parliamentary Convention, which is followed all over the world, so also in Malaysia. Now, I want to speak about what are known as constitutional officers. Some officers are held by the leaders of the nation who are creatures of the Constitution. These are known as constitutional officers. Examples of these are the position of the King, the office of the Speaker of Parliament, the judges of the Judiciary, the Prime Minister and the ministers of the Cabinet, and the Attorney General. So, in conclusion, unless the Constitution provides for it, His Majesty the King, or the Prime Minister and his colleagues in the Cabinet, or all the political parties acting in concert, cannot create a post that does not exist in the Constitution. There is no such thing as an interim Prime Minister. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please share it widely, press like, and if you haven't done so already, do please subscribe. Please also go over to my website at Paradox to read the text version of this video. You can find that in www.gkg.legal. See you again with another exciting episode in GK TV. Goodbye.